What's up, you beautiful people? What's going on, man? Little coffee, super pot, 3:33 a.m. I have been up for 2 hours. Oh yeah, 2 hours. Getting radio show stuff together for the radio station. Got a really good block of RNAB coming up today, where we're going to be looking at some of the fatalities in Kashmir. 3 people are dead in Kashmir. We're going to be talking about India as a superpower on there, and we'll also be covering the Dave Wood expose of how some of his associates, known associates, have been caught in a sting. So that's pretty interesting. But this, just so you know, every Saturday, we run Indian programming. Did you know that? I know Shubham knew that, and I knew Sumya knew that. Sumya, dude, one day, I'm going to show up at your door and just knock. And you're going to answer and be like, "Can I help you, sir?" I'll say, "Shubham, let's go get Shubham, and we'll go drive the coast. We'll go to Goa for holiday." We have the enemy. Here I go, tripping right out of the gates. Indian economy versus the American economy, the basic difference. And Karolina Goswami is leading us here in this video. Let's take a look at it.
Most Indians whom I know personally believe in the idea of saving. It is quite reasonable to say that the tendency to save is deeply rooted in India's culture. But
Agree.
How about America and other nations? Let's see what the available data shows.
Easy,
An
Carolina.
amount of $1,000 is already too much for many Americans to have in their bank
Look at the
savings.
Americans she's showing. I'm so
In
vain.
2016, a survey by Go Banking Rates revealed that 34% of Americans have no money in the bank, and 69% of Americans do not even have $1,000 in savings. On the other hand, at 22%, India's households are known for maintaining a very high savings share of their income. In comparison, this is just 6 to 7% in the USA, 2.5% in Japan, and 9 to 10% in Germany. These savings provide Indian economy a very useful buffer. A 2019 report by the World Economic Forum system states that in India, household savings have historically been high, as thrifty and cautious Indian families put away more than a fifth of their incomes for a rainy day. This buffer provides support to domestic consumption expenditure even through challenging cycles in economic activity. Now, this may come as a surprise to some of you, but India's future is brighter than many nations when it comes to inequality and the fair distribution of wealth. In India, 1 in 4 households today belong to upper middle income and high income groups, but this is going to improve further. By 2030, 1 in 2 households in India will belong in the high income or upper middle class category. The report also states that by that time, India will also lift nearly 25 million households out of poverty to reduce the share of households below the poverty line to 5%, down from 15% today.
Awesome.
Thus, India represents a relatively broad-based pattern of growth and benefit sharing, in contrast to the global scenario of increasing inequality, wherein the richest 10% of the population is capturing an increasing share of national incomes and consequently wealth. In the macro context, India's economy has some impressive structural strengths that makes it relatively resilient to the external shocks. India is a domestic consumption-driven economy. Nearly 60% of India's GDP is driven by domestic private consumption, as compared to 40% in China. With the Indian attitude of saving and with the country's massive pool of young-age population, India finds itself in a very advantageous position. But will the country make the most of this opportunity? Hi, I am Karolina Goswami. Have you checked my latest episode on the situation of women's safety in Australian universities? The episode is available on my other YouTube channel, IID International. See you again.
Yes, and she is part of Patreon. Where to start with this? What she said is not false, I guess is the proper way to say it. The American lifestyle, the American society, a lot of people don't have savings. Very few do. I would tell you, when you look at, like, American society, the warrior queen and I are considered middle class. The median income, meaning the middle of American family households, is $50,000. We are above that. The warrior queen does not work. I make money from YouTube. I make money from the radio station and advertising and selling space, but I also have a traditional job that I work 40, 50 hours a week, somewhere in between there. And it's sales, and it's commission driven and bonus driven. We're not considered wealthy by American standards, but I think if you took the American household and you went and compared it to other nations, we would probably be doing fairly well. When I look at the cost of if I could maintain my income and move to India, how would I live? I would live comfortably. I don't know if I would necessarily be considered wealthy. I think I would. I'm a condo guy. I'm a townhome guy. I'm not a home owner guy. Like, I don't want a home. I don't want the maintenance. I like, apartment living, if you will. When I kind of size it up, you could see the dollar goes further in India than it does in America. But she is right about the savings. We save. In this day and age, it's very common for the young kids who are going to college to have all the student loans because mom and dad won't pay for it, or they can't pay for it. But, my son, we put him through college, and he has no student loans. He went to a junior college first, where he got a full ride, and a full ride means that he got scholarship because his grades were so good. He was homeschooled. The warrior queen homeschooled him. And so he went to junior college for the first 2 years for free. And he kind of got his basics, Math 101, English 101, History 101, kind of the basics. And then he went to journalism school, and he went to Walter Cronkite in Phoenix, which is one of the best journalism schools in the world. And we paid for that. He got some scholarships, like 40% he got scholarships, and we paid the rest of it because it was very important to me to send him out into life without that debt, and to teach him, you need to have plan B. You don't want to be relying something happens to the car, something happens, your hot water heater, something, you have a repair, you have something that's unexpected, an emergency. You don't want to be at the mercy of other people. You don't want to have to go to the in-laws or to your parents or to a friend and say, may I borrow $5,000? It's embarrassing. It's puts you underneath the scrutiny of somebody else. Well, why do you need this and why do you need that? So we save. We have a savings, and we can weather storms. And I have friends. I have friends who said, you know what, they're house poor, right? They're house poor, that they've gone and they've bought a house that they should have no business in. And I work with some guys that have done this, and they're paying $2,000 a month for their mortgage payment for their house. $2,000. It's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. I viewed it differently when I was starting out. When I was at the age that you guys are when you're watching. I wanted to structure my life in a way that it doesn't matter what happens. I can take care of my wife and kid. Right? I can provide for them. If I have to go get a job at McDonald's, if I have to go get like a menial job, I have to go get a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken, in the back kitchen with the fryer, that I could do that, and I could get food and make a mortgage and do all those things. And there have been times in the past where I've had to go do that, right? Because you're hustling, you're trying to make it on your own. And so I think savings is important. And I know in Indian culture, there's a lot of savings. When you see, one of the things I remember watching, I was watching somebody else's YouTube channel. I don't remember who it was specifically, but they're talking about like the jewelry, what that's given at a wedding, that this stuff stays in the family generation, and they don't give it up. They won't give it up. They save it. And that's really, really impressive. So that was a good video. Yeah, I like how they showed the Americans. It's just full of vanity, with the I'm taking a selfie. And just a quick question, right? Because I'm old. I'm going to ask some of the millennials to help me here. When I see young girls doing selfies, why are they always doing this? Why are they making that kissing face? Who are they kissing? There's nobody on the other side. Do they think that looks sexy? Do they think that it looks attractive? It looks kind of weird. I look at it and I go, but I'm getting old, dude. I'm getting old. We've been praying for Amitabh. If anybody's got an update on his health, I know the Warrior Queen and I have been praying for Amitabh. And I'll be teaming up with AZ India. Some good stuff coming, yo. AZ India, watch for it. Learn it, know it, live it. AZ India. I'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love.
Greetings. I am Minamoto no Yoshitsune, #1 samurai in Japan, and I am here to greet you on behalf of Movie Community College. The professor and the warrior queen would like to ask you to subscribe to their channel, Movie Community College. They are close to 200k and they need your help. Please like and subscribe to Movie Community College or face the wrath of Japan's #1 samurai.